Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're digging into the blueprint for the perfect job. And I don't just mean how to find one. I mean how they're actually built from the ground up using a fascinating process called job analysis.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a job posting online, read the description, and thought, wow, that is me. That's the perfect job, only to actually start working and realize it's nothing like what they described? Yeah, it's an incredibly common and frustrating feeling.
Well, there is actually a process, kind of working behind the scenes, that's supposed to stop that from ever happening. It's the foundational work that lays the groundwork for hiring, and it is called job analysis.
Okay, so if we're going to build this blueprint, we first need to get our terms straight. Let's dive right into the core concepts, the real building blocks of this whole idea.
So what is job analysis, really? Well, here's the official definition. It's the systematic procedure for figuring out two things. First, what are the actual duties and skills a job requires? And second, what kind of person, what kind of profile should be hired to do it? It's all about being methodical, not just winging it.
Now, here's something that trips a lot of people up, but it's absolutely key to getting this right. What really is the difference between a job and a position? I mean, they sound like the same thing, don't they? Well, not exactly.
And this slide lays it out perfectly. A job, think of a title like university lecturer, is just a general category. It's an impersonal bucket for a bunch of similar roles. A position, though, that's personal. It's the specific set of tasks that one single person does. So a university could have the job of lecturer, but have 4 different positions filled by 4 individual people. See the difference?
So, how do companies actually do this? How do they perform this analysis? Well, it's not just a one-and-done thing. It's really more like a 6-step investigation to get to the truth of what a role is all about.
That's right, 6. It's a structured, deliberate process, and each step builds on the last. And here's what that process looks like. You see, it starts really broad. You got to understand the whole organization first. Then you narrow your focus to the specific jobs you need to analyze. From there, it's all about figuring out how you'll collect the info, then actually collecting it, and finally, turning all that raw data into something useful. It's like a funnel, from the big picture down to the tiny details.
Now let's zoom in on step 4, because this is where the real detective work happens. Analysts have a whole toolkit. They can do direct interviews, they can literally just watch someone do their job, they can send out super detailed questionnaires, they can even ask employees to keep a diary of their work. Or they can bring in a jury of experts to weigh in. It's all about getting a 360-degree view.
Okay, so after all that investigation and data collection, what's the actual output? What do you have at the end? Well, the whole process creates 2 absolutely critical documents, 2 different blueprints for 2 different things. The best way to think about it is like this. You get one blueprint for the job itself, what tasks need to get done. And you get a second blueprint for the person who will do that job, what skills and experience they need to bring to the table.
Right, and this table breaks down that crucial difference. The job description, or JD, that's the job's profile. It's all about the what you'll be doing day to day. But the job specification, or JS, that's the holder's profile. It's all about the who, what education, what experience, what skills you need to have to even be considered. The what and the who.
Of course, this all sounds great in theory, but in the real world, the process isn't always so clean. There are a few very common traps that can mess the whole thing up and lead you right back to that job posting that doesn't match reality.
First up, we have a classic problem: job inflation. This is what happens when an employee, maybe because they want a better title or a raise, kind of exaggerates what they do. They make their tasks sound way more important or complex than they actually are. So what's the fix? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. You just have to cross-reference your sources. You don't just talk to the employee, you talk to their manager, maybe a few of their coworkers. By getting multiple perspectives, you can filter out the inflation and get a much more accurate picture.
Another massive hurdle is just plain old human emotion, fear. When employees hear their job is being analyzed, they might get worried. They might think it's about boxing them in and killing their creativity, or even worse, that it's the first step before layoffs.
And the only way to combat that fear is with total transparency. You have to communicate clearly why you're doing the analysis, that it's about clarity and support, not about punishment. And when you actually involve employees in the process, you not only build trust, you end up getting way better, more honest information from them.
Now, here's a little pro tip.
To avoid something called the managerial straitjacket, when an employee says, "Sorry, can't do that, it's not in my job description," you add this one little magic sentence. This phrase provides just enough flexibility so that things can still get done when unexpected stuff comes up.
And that brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. Think about your own job right now. Does your official job description really, truly match the work you do every single day? And now that you know how the blueprint is made, what would it take to actually change it? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.